Yeah. Here we go. Y'all better be ready. I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are. I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady.
What's up, y'all? This is your boy EAZY
And your girl Queen V
from your #1 music group,
Ultimate West.
Yes, and welcome to our first episode, the U West All Access.
Yes, you guys, welcome. Here on our first episode, we will be talking to you guys about how it all began.
Wow.
How we met, how the group formed, how we started out in Tijuana, Mexico, and all of that stuff. Everything about how we began.
Wow. And you know what? And it's so amazing because the way we have met and began the Ultimate West, I mean, you guys gonna probably be thinking like, wow, I didn't even know that, you know, and especially for the people, to be honest, for the people that don't know that we are together, because when we perform on stage, you know,
We don't talk about it.
You know, we just don't talk about
we
it.
Just
You know,
on a professional level. Yeah.
So, you know, with no later ado, and jump into the subject, how the Ultimate West was formed and how we met, and here we go right here. So, what happened is that we had met on the chat line.
Yes.
And so, you know, we was texting each other on the chat line, you know, get to know each other, and I did really liked and love her pictures, you know, on her profile. I was like, wow, you know. So in my head, I'm thinking like, dang, she is so cute and she's beautiful, you know, and I wanted to meet her, you know, but I know me, you know, I wanted to, you know, take time. I don't want to like chase her off or have her think that I'm so little lunatic type guy, you know. So I wanted to take my time and, you know, chat with her on the chat line, and then we end up exchanging numbers.
Right.
So once we started exchange each other's numbers, that's when, you know, we started texting, we started calling, and we talked a lot.
Yes, we did. And then about, was it like 2 months maybe after that, you know, we decided, okay, let's meet in person. So we did.
Yeah.
We hit it off, you know. And we started hanging out, going out on dates and stuff like that. We did one trip together to the Grand Canyon, you know. And in all that, you know, I would see EAZY in the studio recording and music. And being that I come from music in my background with my family. You know, my dad's a musician and a singer for a Christian group. You know, my brother's in a rock band and all that stuff. So, you know, being that I have music in my background, I was interested in what he was doing, and so that's how we kind of got started. You know, we did our first song, "I'm Fresh."
Yes.
Took it to Mexico. You know, big shout out to Sixto and Jose and Sylvia and all them for giving us a chance. You know, for opening the doors for us and giving us our first chance, you know, to perform.
Yes.
You know, and we would just want to really thank them, and we're grateful, you know, because from there is where kind of it all started. You know, we took our song up there, perform. Yep. We would go every Saturday and Sunday, actually Friday, spend the night, you know, all the way to Sunday. We would perform on the weekends.
Yep.
The parks and in Santa Cecilia. Sometimes we would get pulled out to other gigs, you know, on the side and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's where that part of it started. You know?
I mean, it was a big chance, too, because it was just a random, because we just went into Tijuana, and Queen V had asked me, like, hey, you know, do you want to perform on stage? I was like, yeah. And that's when she had asked, was it Sixto?
I believe it was Sixto. I think it was, actually. Because I had seen performers, and I was looking at her, I was like, well, it looks like maybe anybody could perform or something. And then so I just went and I asked, you know, how can you perform on stage? And they told us. They're a little bit hesitant, you know, they didn't know us and what we did, what we're about, and, you know, who we were. And they gave us a chance, and after we got off that stage, they loved it. They loved us.
Loved it.
So you guys are welcome back anytime. So we first started going back, I think it was just Fridays, right? Just for Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, we performed Saturdays, actually, not Fridays, but we would get there late Friday late night. And they wanted us to do Saturdays and Sundays, so that's where, you know, we'd be there every weekend.
And let me tell you, and that was
every weekend, faithfully,
every
we'd be
weekend,
traveling
yes.
to Mexico to go perform.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to give you guys a lot more information about Ultimate West.
Yes.
And how we was formed and how we was out there performing, you know,
Yes.
the beginning of our careers and everything. So make sure you guys stay tuned for the Ultimate West presents U West All Access.
Yes, much love, you guys. See you in a few minutes.
Better be ready. I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are. I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
What's up, y'all? This is your boy EAZY
And your girl, Queen V,
from your #1 music group.
Ultimate West.
Yes, welcome back and all that. And the last that we had talked about was how we was performing in Tijuana, Mexico, and how it
Yes.
was like a big risk, but it was a random question to ask to see if we could perform in Tijuana, Mexico.
Right, you guys. And, you know, like again, I was saying, big shout out to Sixto and Jose Vicente and Sylvia and Ana and all of them. You know, thank you so much for opening the doors for us and giving us that chance. Because, I
Man.
mean, that is where our success started.
It
Mainly
really
because
started,
we took
yeah.
our first song up there, and they loved it.
Oh yeah, and
Even though they don't speak English, they loved it.
They loved it, and it's cool because, like, you know, I'm familiar with Spanish music, and a lot of the words I don't know, and still don't know.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you can't like the music, and there's a lot of music as far as in Spanish music that I really do like. And let me tell you, I mean, and I play the Spanish music too, also, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, and that's how basically how, you know, we met and we started performing, you know, every weekend in Tijuana, Mexico. And let me tell you,
Yes.
I mean, and just to let everybody know, it's, at least to me, for my opinion, it's very, very challenging to be performing in a whole different country, and especially when you have a lot of people that don't know English, you know, or at least your type of language, and
Right.
you performing in front of the people that's not, you know, that's not recognizing your language and all
Yes.
that. But the cool part is that if you can have people to stay there and watch your performance, and
Yes.
even though they don't recognize your language, and you know, in our language, you know, it'll be English,
Right.
then that means you're doing a good job, because even though they're not understanding what you're saying, or more like what you're saying, the principle of it is that they are, you know, pay attention to your performance
Yes.
and your music. Yeah.
Right, and as well as, like, you know, while we were performing out there, you know, eventually down the line we started producing more songs and performing those out there. They were a hit also out there and stuff.
Yeah.
So we do everything from hip hop to techno. And then from there we branched out, you know, come out to the US. We started performing at Sam Ash.
Wow.
You know, much
Yo.
love to Sam Ash, because they did like a, what is it, open mic every Wednesday.
Yes.
So we were there every Wednesday performing on that stage. We used it as a practice stage, and, you know, as a practice performance for us to better ourselves. And sure enough, you know, we got good, better and better. And, you know, they welcomed us back, you know, every Wednesday. So that's where, you know, we started out as far as the U.S. goes.
Yes, and let me tell you, I mean, and what happened with that, you know, just kind of bring it back a little bit, is that I seen a sign in Sam Ash.
Yes.
And it says something about open mic, on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
and it
we
says
happen.
other things during the week, like Monday's this, Tuesday's that, Wednesday's open mic, Thursday's this, and Friday and is whatever it is like that.
Yes.
So I seen the sign. I was like, I mean, we already performing,
Right.
in Mexico. So I was like, shoot, we can see what's going on with this.
And how that came about is we just happened to be there, buying some music equipment or something. And
it was something.
Yeah.
And so, I asked the guy, say, hey, what's the information about, the open mic? And so that's when he had said about the open mic. And I like, well, shoot, we could give it a shot.
Yes.
I mean, it is an open mic. So, if you do good, perfect. If you don't do good, it's a practice, like Queen V was saying, So we started taking it like a practice performance so we could advance to bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger things.
Right.
So, and that's what happened. We just started doing that and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to take another small break, y'all. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Ultimate West, how we met and how we just went through our music career and all that stuff like that. So y'all stay tuned, y'all.
That's right. See you in a few minutes.
All right, see you in a few minutes.
And I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude, and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude, and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude, and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are. I'm a lady, and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady, and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady, and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady, and I'm fresh.
What's up, y'all? This is your boy EAZY
And your girl Queen V.
from your #1 music group.
Ultimate West.
Yes, we are back once again on the US All Access and all that stuff. So,
Yes. So we just came back, we were talking about, how we started in the US at Sam Ash and all
Yes.
that, and so from there we met a promoter, a friend of ours, introduced us. We started making connections
there you
and
have it.
whatnot, so they opened the doors for you, and then from there we started making connections, talking to, the music artists that we would open up for and stuff like that. So eventually we started opening our own doors, and then that's how we came about, in the U.S.
Yeah.
As far as, and then from there, chain reaction, one thing leads to the next. So, yeah, that's how we came about out here.
And let me tell y'all, I mean, and and just once again, it's very challenging at times because, you have people that never heard of your music. You're trying to prove to everybody or to
Right.
people in general that
Yes.
your music is good enough to be performed. Your stage presence is good enough to entertain the people. So it's a lot of challenges that goes into it.
Yes.
And all that, and that's why, like, I tell people that you have to make sure that your music is danceable, your performance is on hit, because people is watching.
That's right. You guys have to give it your all. Put your best work into it. You never know who is watching.
Never know.
That's right. And so, yeah, that we used Samash as a practice stage and everything, so
Yeah.
when we come out to the bigger stages, venues and different places and, opening up in front of major artists, you already know what you're doing because you've already practiced
Correct.
on the practice stage.
Yeah, and then see, and when you're on the stage, especially like an open mic, any open mic, use that platform as a practice.
Yes.
So any mistake that you do, if you maybe off beat, with your dancing or your performance, maybe you may be off beat, saying everybody clap their hands, or just whatever, all the mistakes that you could think of.
Study your mistakes and
Study
fix
'em.
them.
Yeah.
Fix them. Mhm.
And you just fix it, and even if you redo the mistakes again, the same exact mistake that you just did last time, you got to pay attention to it, and then you want to correct it as soon as possible, because it doesn't make sense that you want to perform on the bigger stage and you
You're
can't
still making the same mistakes.
on your first practice stage.
Right.
You know, so always make sure that you guys do that.
That's
you
right.
know, practice. You know, and everybody's not perfect, and even on your bigger stages, people, as far as major artists is not perfect. But the only difference is you're not a major artist. You know, you're up and coming.
That's true. And even your major artists, like, I would say like Rihanna and them, even they have mistakes on stage where more like accidents and stuff like that. You know, nobody's perfect. But, you know, you always want to give it your best. And I would say every performance you do, the next one should be better than the next, as equal as your songs that you do, or anything that you do in general. You know, yeah. I mean, you got, but as far as mistakes and stuff, you got artists falling on stage and just things happen. You know.
Yeah, you know, so always practice because you know, like I said earlier, you know, you guys is up and coming, where these other people is already out there already. Them, you know, even though they make the mistakes, major artists and all that, well, you make them,
more
you know,
forgiving, I would say, right?
it's more forgiving, you know, and it's what's the word I want to say? I guess I would say the word more forgiving because they already out there.
Or it's more accepted or forgettable. Like, as for you, you have a lot to prove.
Yes.
You know, you have to prove who you are, what you can do without making any mistakes.
And there you have it right there, you know. So get ready to end this first episode, y'all. And we welcome everybody, I mean everybody to the U.S., all access and all that stuff, you know. Any last minute?
The last part before we go, as part of this episode, is how we met and our journey and everything. You know, so down the line while we're doing our music, we also tied the knot.
There you go right there.
So, you know, after it was 2 years after being into our music and everything, right? It was like 2 years after.
2 years.
So yeah, we got married, and you know, we got married in Rancho Cucamonga. Had our reception in Upland.
Yep.
You know, and so yeah, it was a beautiful wedding and everything. So. Yeah, so that's, you know, not only are we artists, but we're co-workers. Now we're husband and wife.
There you go.
So, yeah, so we want to welcome you guys, you know, to follow us. Catch every episode on Saturday and, you know, follow us on our journey to success. Maybe you guys will pick up some of our positive energy and advice, you know, and you guys can use that towards whatever it is that you guys are doing, you know, whether it is that you want to do music, doctor, nursing, anything that you could put it in to what you're doing. And
there you have it right there, y'all.
Yes.
So once again, your boy EAZY right here.
Your girl Queen V.
From your #1 music group.
Ultimate Club.
Yes, and once again, you are in U.S. All Access.
Yes, always. Every Saturday.
All right, you guys. Bye.
Yeah. Here we go. Y'all better be ready. I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are. I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are. What you wanna do now? Here I come now. Bow down to my hometown. Looking at my lady, she's Mexican. I'm a black dude, here we go again. I'ma write a letter to my president. You just won your re-election. I'm the bomb now, y'all bow down. San Bernardino, California, we wear the crown. Black and gray, that's all I wear. Up in the club, get my walk on, I don't swear. Like I said before, I'm a bism. Come and get some, it's time to have fizzum. You know my dance crew is even better. Get on the dance floor, turn on the record. Let the beat hit, let the bass drop. Let them speakers pop. I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are. I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady and
fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lady, and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
My crew is so tight, you can't beat 'em. Do you understand that? Get that? I'm a real lady, down for my crew. Your crew's even tighter than you. I'm sexy, I'm so down. Your girl crew, got a beat down. Oh yeah, my cell phone's ringing. It's my man, checking on me. I'm Mexican, he's black. He's sexy, he's all that. He calls me anytime. My cell phone rings all the time. Back to my crew that's beating you on the dance floor. Hits on YouTube, now you know how we do. I'm a lady, you know I'm cute.
I'm a fly dude, and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude, and I'm fresh.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fly dude, and